Well, that was different. Welcome in, everybody, to ZB's Horsepower Talk Season 3 finale. As always, I am ZB Zach Brown, and joining with me, as always, is former 410 Sprint Car crew chief and mechanic, my dad, Jeff Brown. Again, season 3. It's crazy that we've come this far. This is a little bit different than what we've always done, and if this goes pretty well, we might try to change up how this podcast is produced each and every week, where we'll try to have at least one guest on every Saturday afternoon during racing season. So we will try to see how this shakes up. And if everybody likes us, make sure you are commenting, subscribing, following. This is on streaming on Facebook, X, and on YouTube. Share it with all your groups, friends, everything. We welcome a lot of participants. I don't know how the whole chat thing works, so we'll probably see all the comments after the fact, very likely. And we have some big guests coming on. We have iRacing champions coming on. We have NASCAR Truck Series drivers coming on. And hopefully, if he's not too busy getting ready for the next racing season, we'll have the Knoxville Nationals champion from this past year who's been on before, Ryan Timms, and he's also the Tuscarora 50 champion of 2025. So he will be on hopefully at noon. We will check back in with him here in a little while, but first guest will be in about 30 minutes. JD Layok, the iRacing champion, probably one of the best iRacing professionals that there is around right now. I thought you were drinking a beer. I was like, damn, it is only 10 o'clock, but whatever.
Hey, we're in Florida. It doesn't matter. We start drinking early down here.
Yeah. Well, racing season was definitely a wild one, and for sure we're going to have another wild one coming up in a few weeks when we start kick back off again with the Chili Bowl. And that always is a fantastic race the entire month of pretty much the entire month of January. So basically, racers get maybe a few weeks off right here. If you're Kyle Larson, you don't have any weeks off. He is racing in the I believe the USACs, and he went for a wild ride a couple weeks ago. I think it was it Pursley? I think maybe.
Yeah, Jason Pursley.
Yeah, I had tried to pull a slider on Larson and wasn't able to clear it, and sent Larson in the fence.
Well, actually, Pursley was leading, and Larson kind of went around him on the outside.
Pursley tried to overtake it back.
Yeah, and I don't think Pursley did anything. I think the car kind of pushed and slid up. I mean, Larson had two choices. He was either going to crash or he could have hit the brakes and pass him. It just. In the heat of the moment, Larson was kind of pissed, but looking back, I mean, it was, that was two guys going for the lead.
Well, Pursley, I think, he's just a teenager or barely 20 years old, I think, too. He's just a kid.
He's not, he's a hell of an up-and-coming racer, especially without a wing. Right now, I think he's probably a little better without the wing than he is with the wing, but if there's anything like Buddy Kofoid, it don't take him long to figure out driving with the wing.
Yeah, so and the World Finals finished up in Charlotte, and Rico made a big splash at the World Finals, basically giving us a preview possibly of what's to come when he races for Tony Stewart starting next year. I think that's going to be a very, very good team up. I think it was smart by Tony. I mean, Rico could really go anywhere he wants. I think he's going to be fine, but I think it's a really smart pickup by Tony to get Rico and to probably have a really good shot. Now, I can't remember if they decided if they're going to go World of Outlaws or they're going to do High Limit next year. I don't even know if it's.
I thought I saw it was High Limit.
I mean, that would be smart. I mean, I would like to see how Rico could go about dealing with World of Outlaws, and if he would be one that could overtake David Gravel to knock him off as the champion. David Gravel, of course, the back-to-back two-time World of Outlaws champion now. Very, very expected. Nobody was really challenging the whole year. Kofoid was on his heels, but it was kind of how the Brad Sweet and David Gravel matchup was for the last few years, where neither one could really escape each other, but Buddy Kofoid had more DNFs and more, worse finishes overall than David Gravel. David Gravel's stats this year were absolutely incredible to see.
Yeah, even when he has problems, he don't have problems.
And that's all about the team. The team does a fantastic job just getting that car repaired if they need to.
Yeah.
And he doesn't ever qualify bad. He just doesn't. He doesn't contract bad. He just has a knack for all
these. It's the whole package. I mean, they got a good team. He's driving good. They're going to be hard to beat.
So apparently, I guess
probably the only one that's got even a shot next year.
So apparently, the World of Outlaws are not going to any California tracks next year, and that's been
Yeah.
a bunch of controversy going on lately. So I don't really know what the deals with that are. I don't really know what's going on. I think High Limit's still doing some California tracks, but I don't really know what's going on with the
Yeah, I
Outlaws.
don't know if there's a deal with high limit guy tracks aren't going to run outlaw shows. Like there's no high limit coming into Williams Grove, which I think they should be coming in. But
Well, you could say what you want about California, but they do they produce great race car drivers, and
they got hellish racetrack dirt tracks out there.
it's kind of the best of both worlds, where it mixes a little bit of it kind of looks like a little bit of the Midwest dirt, but they race a lot like the Eastern tracks. It's a good mixture of everything. I mean, dirt racing, especially in Northern California, is really popular. So that it is kind of a shame that they're not going to do any racing, at least for World of Outlaws, at least for next year. Looking
Yeah,
at it,
but
and
it is also very expensive for those guys to tow out there. Most of those race teams are probably based in the Midwest somewhere. In
yeah,
general, I would think.
and well, of course, you have obviously Larson Sprint Car Team. They're based out of
Yeah, I mean
Greenville.
they're not a full outlaw team, so
So we got an appearance by the cat in the
yeah,
background. Saw a second ago.
yeah,
There's
nice
a
little.
very good possibility y'all get a shot of a child coming through and just yelling at some point. Just heads up on that. But yeah, it's been a good year, another good year of racing, and the biggest hot topic with NASCAR as we kind of shift, no pun intended, to a little bit of NASCAR. We'll touch on drag racing and the disappointing season finale that they had. Uh, but again, the hot topic for NASCAR is where are they going to go with this whole point system? They still haven't announced anything. Usually, they don't do announcements until like late December, going into January, what they are going to decide to do with rules packaging and everything. We've discussed how it should be. I'm all for if it's somewhat like what the old system was, but you reward a lot more for winning. So uh, the points difference between winning and second place would be a lot more dramatic. So you get rewarded a lot more for winning, and it doesn't come down to the final 10 races. I mean that's what the original chase for the cup used to be. It was, hey, we got 10 races left, everybody resets, and then whoever has the best 10, which is kind of what drag racing does with the countdown. I think it should be just brought out throughout the year. If you've been winning a lot of races, cool. But if you have a bad finish, it doesn't completely take you out of the points. You get rewarded for your wins. You get rewarded for consistency. It's a little bit of best of both worlds. Obviously, NASCAR's clearly watching us right now, so they should
Yeah,
definitely take this into consideration. There's tons of rumor mills going on. Everybody wants Steve Phelps out of NASCAR. Everybody wants Dale Jr. to replace him. I'm going to tell you right now, Jr. probably has zero interest of being the president of NASCAR. He's got enough stuff he's got to deal with. I don't think you'll see him do anything. I would like to see him maybe as a consultant for NASCAR,
yeah.
and maybe
If,
NASCAR
if,
lets.
if there would be an Earnhardt in there, it would probably be Kelly more so than
Well,
Dale.
Kelly handles all, yeah, and Kelly handles
That's more
all
her.
that side of it.
That would be huge for that. I mean, that would be a huge, just fan standpoint. That would be huge.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
and Junior knows a lot of the criticism comes with it too, and the whole deal. But as far as the point system, I wouldn't mind seeing them reset the top 10 in points. Wins should not guarantee that you get into the playoffs. And then in maybe even in the 10, like we talked about it before, have some of the marquee races be like drag racing where it's points and a half. That way, all of a sudden you have a couple bad races and you go out and have a good race on one of those points and a half. You could really make up, you could really change the whole point, the point battle real quick just by having one or two good races in those extra point races or having a bad race in those extra point races.
I
And
will
we
say,
determined, coming down to the four on the last race to determine the champion doesn't work. I mean, it didn't work for Xfinity, and I mean, we're Larson's fans, so it worked good for us. But I mean, Denny Hamlin should have won that race, but and that's not how it worked. So
and again, it also should not have come down to one race where there were
yeah, I agree. because Zillage should that point system should have been locked
Well,
up
the
weeks
point
ago.
the point system with, I think it was one of the old point systems with Larson. If he would have won the championship regardless, based on
Yeah.
the points,
Then the
anyways.
old Winston Cup points, it would have been Christopher Bell would have won.
Yeah, so there's, I
I
think,
think, or it's the other way around. One way point, I think, was the old like countdown system or the full year. Larson would have won.
yeah,
So it's that one wasn't as bad, but the the Zillage one that was
yeah,
tough.
and I think that's what got a lot of people really talking. Imagine if Corey Hahn didn't win the Truck Series championship,
Yeah,
because that, I mean, he absolutely annihilated the field in Truck Series every single week. I
yeah,
mean, it was like, I mean, to put it in perspective, it's kind of like watching David Gravel dominate
yeah.
the World of Outlaws. Really, he was in contention literally every single week, and he won, I think, a dozen races. And if he didn't win, it would have been catastrophic. It, the point, and regardless, the point system needs to be revamped. It 100% needs to. They need to figure something out. Listen to the drivers. I think there needs to be, like, NFL has the Players Association, the NBA has Players Association. I think MLB has something similar to. NASCAR's a professional sport. You need to have a drivers association. You need to have them involved in some way on some certain votes and everything, in consultations, because if these are the ones that are racing every single week and they see what needs to be done. They need to have crew members on the panel too. However, it needs to be played out. It needs to do something like that. And I'm sure there's some underwriting um, that NASCAR can't have its own union or whatever. It very well could be. I don't know all the details on that, but that's what needs to. It needs to happen like that. They need to do something, because the input of these drivers is necessary. The drivers listen to the fans. The drivers see it every week too. So I think finally NASCAR's listening a little bit to everybody, and the 750 horsepower is coming back. However, how that works, I'm not entirely sure. Like we've talked about before, how
Yeah.
you can just have only 750 horsepower and not just limit it to what cubic feet or whatever, cubic inch, like a 410 cubic inch engine, so whatever that needs to be. So I don't really know. Um, we'll see what NASCAR decides to do. Whatever they decide is going to come back with criticism. But
Yeah,
try it
you're
out.
not going to make anybody happy, but I think most people are in agreement. We got to make some kind of change.
Yeah,
But NASCAR needs to know it's like, okay, we'll change it, and if it doesn't work, I mean, you got to probably give it a couple of years. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Let's try to fix it even better. So I mean, they need to be more open to put on. I mean, it comes down to the bottom line. It's an entertainment business, and people are just starting to tune out. And I know a lot of drivers think it, and I still think the season's too long. It starts to get a little old. And don't get me wrong, I'm all ready for racing season to begin again now. But it just seems like once football season comes on, everybody's already had enough races that we're like, okay,
we're only saying that because the Eagles have pissed us off the last 2 weeks. That's why we're right back to
yeah,
racing.
now we're ready to go back racing.
But yeah, IndyCar does. I think they finished at a perfect time of the year,
Yeah,
and
they don't,
but
they don't race near as much.
there are drivers that are all for. You can still have 36 races. They're all for having a midweek series and having races like
I would say even it doesn't have to be a midweek series. I like Saturday and Sunday at a track.
double header. I mean, yeah,
Like
when they did
IndyCar
the
does a
Pocono
lot.
double header
That
during
was cool.
COVID and everything, it worked. And I think they even did that for Darlington. I think they did like a Saturday Sunday thing. They did a bunch of tracks like that so they can make up to have 36 races. I think it's good. You shorten the races
Yeah,
to,
you're already there.
yeah, shorten the races to 250 miles each, and
Yeah,
double header weekend. I mean, that would be good. I'm cool with if they race a couple of the local, like ones that are in close proximity to each other. So you have Wilkesboro and I'm just throwing out the Darlington. So it's easier for the teams to take care of all that. Not like you have to go like Darlington to California or something, but some things, ones that are in close proximity where you can actually get a couple races done. Where you can,
we just got a message from my sister saying hi. So hi, Dawn. Hope you're still watching.
well, yeah, you keep that on a separate screen there because I don't have any of the comments turned on in here.
Yeah, that's on the Facebook chat.
Oh, I'm sure. Um, I don't even have X pulled up. But like I said, if you guys have questions, if you have Facebook questions, you're on the Facebook group, have questions for our guests coming up, please drop them in there. Dad, you let me know if we get any questions for that. You can monitor that. I might turn on X. Usually, I thought some sort of comments would come up on this, but again, this is a new software that I'm using. I like it. I like the software. I'm still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to put it on the YouTube thing. You may have to do it since it's your channel.
I don't know. I can put it on.
It has a thing where it says open panel, which I don't have that one, but
On yours? Oh, on the
on YouTube it says live chat, join the conversation, but I can't open it because I don't think you have that open.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not really sure. Oh gosh, this is the fun thing about the live shows. There's also catastrophic meltdowns that are
Hey, we're completely professional here.
100%. I don't.
Well, I
even
mean,
know.
there is. I mean, well, maybe it actually is open.
I can't even. I don't even.
There is a top chat thing here on that. So
I'm sure it's somewhere. Don't know what's
if you
going
see
on.
me looking around, I got stuff on different monitors everywhere. It's kind of weird because there's a slight delay on between live and Facebook and YouTube. So it's
Why don't you go over here? Oh, that. Yeah, so I can get Facebook and maybe I can pull up X over here. Heck, damn it. This is not. Comments. Well, that's not even. That's just catastrophe right there. I don't know what that means.
well. Anyway, let's go with like some of the recaps that we've had this year. For one, big year for us where my brother was inducted into the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame, so we got to go out there end of May, which was cool. It was also my dad's 91st birthday, so that was kind of neat.
And
Yeah.
great
Sorry,
experience.
I lost my screen. I know where I went.
Okay, it was a great experience. Knoxville is a very top notch facility, quite literally middle of nowhere. And if you want a small town feel, this is even smaller than a small town feel. But when sprint car racing invades it, that is literally all they do. That's what they live and breathe out there. And it left a really good impression on us, as much so that we are very likely, hasn't been confirmed yet because the tickets aren't bought because they're not available until April. Found that out. But very likely we will be heading to Knoxville for the Knoxville Nationals. If you haven't caught any of the episodes before, we are going to go to the Knoxville Nationals. Uh, First time I will ever.
Yeah, I've never been there just as a fan. So go there and do some tailgating, drink some beer, sit in the stands, cheer them on.
We'll have to figure out exactly where to park because they've got to be opening up some areas to park because shoot, there were not a lot of parking. We were there for just a random Saturday night race.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll figure that out when it gets a little bit closer. I've talked to Bob Baker, so we might even try to get him on again next season.
Yeah.
And he was the president of the NASCAR National Sprint Car Hall of Fame. Jesus, I can't even talk. And I think it's gonna be really cool if anybody's been to the Knoxville Nationals. Let us know, like, give some pointers as we start getting closer and closer to it. The hardest part is probably just getting the flight out there. The rest of it you can kind of figure out. It's an easy drive wherever you are in Iowa because there's nothing. There's Casey's. There's that's pretty much it out there, and there's farms, which is great. I mean, it's and randomly a casino wherever we were.
Yeah, we were in Altoona, so we had some time to kill. So we hit the casino.
That is.
I thought I was going to close that place down. I took them for $3.75.
Yeah, I said $20, and I was like, I'm done. I'm out on this. I ain't doing that. I ain't doing that anymore. What else? I'm blanking hard. We obviously had a lot of really good guests that have come on over the past few years. And again, I think what we're going to try to shift towards here is to have a guest on every single week, do a live show on Saturdays. And if this works out well, if everybody likes it, likes the guests that are coming on, let us know, and then we'll kind of geared
Yeah, if
towards.
we get a couple more people to join our NASCAR fantasy league, maybe we can get a bunch of us all at one time and kind of discuss our race picks and things like that live would be kind of cool. So if you guys are interested in that, make sure you reach out to us. And
And again, this is also being recorded too. So if you're listening on
yeah,
Spotify at a later time, go ahead and comment on that as well. Uh, what other? This, I mean, this will probably stay on the Facebook. I don't think it deletes the live or anything. It'll be on the YouTube channel as well, and it stays on X. So there's, I mean, so many people on all sorts of social media these days. Share it with anybody. Comment on who you want us to try to get as guests. We've had a lot of phenomenal guests. We'd love to have first
yeah. I
time
mean, we've
guests.
had dirt racers, we've had National Sprint Car Hall of Famers on here.
A lot of them.
Three of them, not Knoxville Nationals winners. We've had drag racers, local sprint car guys. We're up for all racing. So if you're on a race team and you'd like to feature your team on here, by all means, come on in. We'd love to hear from you. Reach out and spread the word of your team, where you're racing. We as race fans, we want to know more about all kinds of racing. If you got a drag car you run weekly, cool. Come on in. Let's talk about your drag car. We like that stuff and anything. Or if you work at a racetrack, you're a scorer, anything. I mean, love to hear the workings behind the scenes on race day. Interesting stuff that people don't really think about. While you're there, but there's a whole lot that's going on everything. So by all means, we'd love to hear all kinds of racing stories. Or if you're a former racer and you want to talk
Yeah,
about your career, that's cool too. I mean, we love to reminisce about the old times for sure.
everybody's just blowing up my phone and stuff. One thing I wanted to mention that I really enjoy doing, and we can do it if we get some more people in the fantasy, and it kind of goes along with the fantasy as well, is the in-season tournament that NASCAR did, and that actually did. I think that was great for the drivers and the fans. I mean, you had.
Yeah, they kind of had fun. The drivers had fun with that.
I liked it. I mean, it gives them an opportunity to win $1 million, and it makes them race their competition harder in general, especially the smaller teams. When you saw Ty Dillon have an opportunity to win that $1 million, who would have thought that? Um, and just having the opportunity for those smaller teams because the way it fit into the schedule, there were road courses, there were super speedways, and it just gives everybody that
Yeah,
opportunity to pull all those upsets. I mean, and if even it's a regular track, if there's somebody gets a flat or blows an engine, all you have to do is just finish, and then bam, you're ahead and have a chance to win the million. I think it was who won. It was Ty Gibbs that won it,
yeah,
and it, would never guess that.
yeah. Just sort of, it's kind of like the basketball tournament where you get the a low seed going in there, and all of a sudden, a couple upsets happen, and here we go. It was kind of fun
Yeah,
playing along with that. It gave people a reason to kind of tune in when it's sort of that's right in the middle of sort of we got racing again season this week.
and before we get our guest on, he should be joining here shortly. So, what looking back, and I mean, besides the Larson Championship, obviously that was probably the highlight that we've seen from racing uh, as our perspective this year. What was like the most memorable thing you from anything across the board on the racing that you've seen this year?
Oh, memorable, and it's always memorable. We over 4th of July got to take a trip up to Pennsylvania with my family. So if anybody knows my family, you know what that turns into. So got to go to Williams Grove. Uh, got to see the 4th of July show there for Speed Week. And to party with my sisters and nephews, and oh boy, from what I can remember, we had a good time.
Yeah. Well,
It's always nice to get up there, and going to Knoxville for the Hall of Fame was really cool. Especially we got to see. I mean, Johnny Rutherford was there. Uh, Ken Schrader was there. That was that was pretty badass. All the people that were at the Hall of Fame.
It was definitely that's definitely up there. Just seeing that and uh, I just see April. She's definitely tooting their own horn right
Yeah, my sister shouts out that they're the best.
now. Definitely try to get up there at some point. I'd love to get back up there for a national open, one of the big races up there, and see everybody again. If everybody knows my schedule, it's a little more difficult to maneuver and get out of town and everything. As everybody knows that I'm a cop down here, so it's to shuffle my schedule around a little more difficult. Uh, we'll see what I can do and what next season will bring. Um, yeah, I think for sure the most memorable thing was Knoxville. It just that's obviously for once and for all that's been the dream to at least go see that place. Now, hopefully, we can go full circle and then get to see the Knoxville Nationals. I mean, this will be the first time in what almost 40 years that you'll get to see the Knoxville Nationals, give or take, I guess.
Yeah, unfortunately, NASCAR had to schedule Richmond that Saturday night, so there's no chance of Kyle Larson racing the Knoxville Nationals this year.
Well, joining in with us now is the 2025 Pro Sim champion, who's now a four-time iRacing champion, one of the best pro racers that I've seen. I mean, every time he posts something, he's winning or getting a top three finish. Everybody, welcome JD Layok back into the podcast. If I can get this to work, hold on. Hey, how's it going, man?
Hey, hello,
Hey,
good
good
morning.
morning.
Well, man, congrats on another championship. It feels like every time you're on, you're just winning another championship. And just first of all, the paint scheme, awesome. I love the Lego car is absolutely awesome. That was really cool. And I saw when you got the sponsorship earlier on this season, and I got to see you post pictures with your kids opening the Legos too. That was really cool to see. What was it like partnering with Lego and all the partnerships that you've had this year, and then help propel you to your championship this year?
Yeah, Lego coming aboard was definitely unexpected because Lego's not really, besides F1, you never really hear of Lego in the NASCAR world. So it was definitely something that caught my attention very quick when they reached out to me. Um, but their support all year for everything that we did, and of course the kids with all the Legos and everything. My house is filled with Legos now. We have a backlog. But it was good to see a company as big as Lego come into the racing world and the sim racing world, really, because sim racing, of course, is taken off, but we take a back seat to the big boys, to the real life guys. So it's always good when companies like that come aboard, um, and help us out and bring attention to us, especially for my race team as well. And all the sponsors we got. I mean, if you would have told me that I would have been racing computers and have a Bass Pro sponsorship and a Budweiser sponsorship, I would have told you were crazy.
I don't even know which one is the best out of all three of those right there. I mean, kind of mix them up all together and you have a great time. Uh, just now, I think that since the last time, this is the first time we've talked since you've kind of built a big racing team. Like you have multiple drivers now, and I think there are multiple series that you guys race too. And I want to say there's two other drivers that you guys have brought on that race in the Cup Series on Pro Sim.
We we have for this season we had two other guys, and now coming up in 2026 we'll have a fourth car. So we have a third guy coming in, but so we're gonna have four total cars in the Cup Series. And then we signed as well a young girl from Georgia who is going to be running right now in a week. Is going to be our only B2 Motorsports in off season racing. It's the late model series, winter series starts here soon.
Okay.
We're going to enter her into that to get her some little bit of short. She loves short track racing. I mean, who doesn't? Um, so she's going to be running a late model car, and then she's going to run our Xfinity program, which you're going to be relaunching in February as well. So we got a lot of new talent coming in.
That's awesome. How do you evaluate when you bring on somebody to come onto your team?
Um, I watch a lot of. I mean, it's iRacing streams all the time on Twitch and YouTube and everything, and you can see it all over Facebook. But what you really want to go do is you dig deep into these iRacing hosted sessions that these guys put together, and you watch. You just click on any of those inside of the iRacing service, and you look for what I look for. Of course, is just I'm not trying to find the next Kyle Larson or the next I said next William Byron.
Yeah, there you
Um, so I look for just good racing etiquette. I mean, it's a simulation, yes, but you're gonna have those guys who just go in there and just want to just ruin
Take it out.
everybody's day. Yeah,
Oh, I'm well aware of that.
yeah.
I'm well aware
And
of that.
iRacing does. I like I said, I've said it before. I said it in the last time we talked. iRacing does a phenomenal job of putting you where your skill level should be and where your racing etiquette should be. Um, and so when I go in, I want to see raw talent. You don't have to win every single race to get onto my team. But one thing I look for is, of course, with sponsorships, I want to see how you handle if a sponsor comes on. Like we had an Armor All sponsorship that allowed our fourth driver to race for the last 15 races of the year. They came along and I said, "Hey, they're going to reach out to you, talk to them, do all the social media stuff, do all the answers. I want to see how you handle yourself outside of the race team." Because how you handle yourself on the track, I mean that it's an impression that you're leaving for you as well. But as a whole, I want to see how you represent B2 Motorsports.
Yeah, for sure. And that's really anything in life. So that's definitely awesome to see. Dad, you got any questions for him this first time you've gotten
Yeah,
to speak today?
if somebody that's relatively new to iRacing or whatever, what's your advice to someone new who wants to get started and get better and maybe perhaps get recognized by someone looking for new talent? Like what equipment do you think somebody wants to start out and take it real? What do you need to get going? I mean, I realize you can do it with a cheap steering wheel and some pedals and a couple monitors and you're good to go, but is a full sim setup necessary to be a top racer, or what's your recommendations on that kind of equipment?
Um, I would say for if you're starting out, I've told everybody who's reached out to me about this, you can start with the Logitech wheel. I mean it's not the cheapest wheel, but it's a good mid-range wheel. I mean Logitech has sponsorships with I believe 2311. So they have their own deal with them. I mean, Ty Majeski ran on a computer desk and a laptop, and he's still got the highest. He's got, I believe, the second highest I rating on there, which is just that measures your skill level and of course, your performance. Um, I mean, I'm sitting in my MPI racing rig that is, it's a racing seat that goes in a car. You can use a computer desk. You take the wheels off of it, you set it down. You just need to get onto the service, and you don't need a high performing computer unless you want it to look pretty. I don't really want to, when I'm racing, I'm not looking at the clouds or how pretty the trees look when I'm driving by. I got to focus on what's ahead of me. Um, so you don't really need. I would say you got to put a little bit of money into it the further you get into it if you want to keep performing well. Because I mean, computers break down all the time. And there's always some sort of computer technology is our biggest enemy. Um, but I would say practice, practice for anybody who comes on. As soon as you sign into iRacing, I mean, during Black Friday they do crazy deals. It's easy to get into iRacing during the holiday season. Practice, run laps, test. You don't have to go on there with real car. I mean, they have AI racing on there, and you can set it to however you want it. They also just released a portion of AI racing that it'll gradually improve. the simulated drivers to go along with your skill level. And I've tested that out, and it helps you learn. I mean, some of these guys, you'll watch if you set at the lowest on the AI racing, these guys are going to run a straight line, bottom lane, Talladega for 100 laps. But if you set it however you want to do it, they're going to pass, they're going to bump draft, they're going to do everything you want it to do. And I would say do a good bit of practicing and testing and AI racing before getting into a hosted race. Because I mean, like I said, a good majority of the iRacing guys come in and they want to do well. Um, and that's just like that. What happened with my upcoming late model driver? She had been watching all the Pro Sim series races, and she had gotten in. You can get in onto the tryout sessions that Pro Sim host, and she tried and kept working and working. And the Pro Sim series noticed that, and they put her name into the little hat, and I was able to watch her. And so it's easy to get noticed. There's tons of leagues to get into. Um, I actually haven't ran an official iRacing race, and last time I checked was 2 years. But I run these hosted leagues, and I mean, it counts. I mean, it's hosted iRacing.
Yeah.
So to better answer your question, yeah, don't need the best computer, don't need the best equipment, but as time goes on to improve, definitely gonna invest a little bit.
You
So
mentioned
do you think 3 monitors is the way to set up where you kind of have your like a peripheral vision type setup?
For me, if I had the room inside of here, I would go back to my triple monitors. Um, I raced VR for half a season, and then it just wasn't my brain and my eyes. I couldn't do it mentally anymore or physically, just because it just made me sick. Because the Pro Sim Series runs full length races. So imagine running a Coca-Cola 600 in VR headset for 5 hours.
Right.
Um, but a triple monitor setup is just as perfect. And it's easy to set up. So being able to sit in the seat and look left and right works perfect. So I mean, what I'm running right now is a 55-inch TV with another TV up top.
you
Okay.
you
Yeah,
mentioned
I know. Like as far as raw horsepower on the computer, iRacing does pretty well on not a super major gaming computer type thing, or you have a pretty good graphics card. It looks pretty well, at least with the 2 monitors. We never had 3 set up on anything, so we have to.
I'm not good enough. You have to do all that. I rate. I'll do some iRacing just to blow off some steam. One night I
But
have.
I like the AI thing because just like we play around with it. You'll be running along, just mind your own business, and someone's going to come in and just clean you out for no reason. It's like, why did I get damaged for somebody hitting me when I'm just sitting there minding my own business, not getting anybody's way, and they come in and they just destroy you.
Yeah, you start
Yeah.
doing.
That's frustrating.
You start
Think
doing.
of
You start
NASCAR
doing.
heat all over again.
You start doing great once you're building it up, and then you get to Talladega week, and then that's the week. And
Yeah. Talladega week or week 13 of the iRacing season is
uh,
time to go crazy.
any week, generally for me, if it's the mile and a half ones, I'm like, yeah, I got that. Randomly, Richmond and Iowa, I'm pretty decent at. I don't know why those are the tracks I'm decent at. Martinsville, I might as well just skip that week because that's not
Yeah.
it's short track stuff. Can't figure that out. You mentioned William Byron earlier. Obviously, William Byron was an amazing iRacer. Now, obviously, a future champion for sure in the sport, and has had many opportunities to win the championship. So he's doing awesome. Um, for you, have anybody reached out to you to potentially race any of these real life race cars?
I've got an opportunity to test out a dirt car at Millbridge Speedway. Um, that was the middle of this year. And it was an opportunity that was just brought up to like, hey, it's a local track. Millbridge is I think about 30, 45 minutes away from me.
Yeah, right down the
Um,
street from me.
yep, I've raced some dirt on iRacing. Um, I'm not going to race a actual dirt race on iRacing until I'm able to work on it more. But I'm able to have car control, and I feel very confident in my car control. And I had videos and I had a good family friend who I showed it to, and I asked him about it. We talked about it. But unfortunately, that opportunity didn't come up. He had a different job opportunity come up, and he moved away. So I've had a dirt opportunity. Um, I think the only opportunity I had was just a late model test, and I think that was going to be at Lanier, but that didn't come through. Um, so I have gotten the opportunities. I will say I think more are coming, and that's just based off of sponsorship opportunities that we got. So, and I will take them because the only real race car experience I've got was doing the Richard Petty driving experience a couple years ago. So that was about it. And but getting out of that car, heavily controlled by a chip, I wanted more. So,
Yeah, did that too, and they topped out at what 150 or something. I'm like, come on now.
yeah,
Like, all right, like, listen, I feel like wing it a little faster than that, but I really hope you do get that opportunity. I mean, dude, I don't know how much more you can do in the sim racing world, and I mean,
yeah,
get, if anything's proven that from a wide range of drivers now is that you can translate what you are racing in the simulator into real life racing. It's clearly translated well for William Byron. Carson Hocevar's been able to do it. Tom Majeski's been able to do it, and obviously numerous others. So, I mean, there is kind of a mile and a half NASCAR track that's right down the road to do a lot of testing throughout the off season. I feel like somebody needs to at least give you the opportunity to run some laps on it. Um, doesn't cost these teams anything really to just go give somebody a chance to an opportunity to do that. I mean, I really hope it happens for you for sure. I mean, and I'd like to see Lego come aboard in one of these series and have the real life Lego car because that'd be pretty dope to see.
yeah. They keep announcing all this F1 stuff and this F1 Academy stuff. I was like, man, come on over here to the cool side.
Yeah. Well, we come from a sprint car background, and so we got iRacing, and I'm like, all right, and if it's anything like driving these cars, if it feels anything like it, I realize why I was always the mechanic and not the driver because I kind of knew how to set up and go around Williams Grove, one of our home tracks. I don't know if I got it out of the damn pits. I mean, like, holy crap, that thing was. You hit the gas and front ends off the ground. Like, how in the hell do these guys do that? Let
Yeah,
alone real life. I couldn't do it simulator by myself with not another car on the track. It's like, damn.
yeah. I love how they have all they probably have any dirt car you want to try or want to drive, they have it. But definitely going from a dirt street stock, going up to going up to a super late model in dirt, huge gap. I
Huge,
learned that out real quick.
big
So
time.
easily going through a turn in dirt street stock before slightly hitting hitting the little bump right there in the dirt, or when it really sets in
Yep,
after running about 50 laps, you learn real quick.
that's for sure. Um, Want to play a quick game? I've seen this. We've done this occasionally on this podcast. Other podcasts do this too. It's a blind ranking. I'm not seeing any videos like these. I'm going to for this one rank these five racing video games from one to five. One being the best, five being the worst, without knowing what comes next. So I'm going
Boy,
to start. So here we go. And this is a
Yeah.
range of
I always got to write it down because I forget.
I've been playing since the 90s. This is gonna be good.
Okay.
all right. So the first one up, NASCAR Dirt to Daytona.
Oh, you start off with a heater.
Mm,
Two.
My personal favorite game.
number two. Number two. Okay. All right. Gran Turismo. Anyone, whichever one you want to pick.
If it's the older, like the first one that came out on the PlayStation 1, I'll put that at I'll put it at five because I got to be careful.
Okay. Mario Kart.
That's how I've been playing that since I was a kid. That's also how me and my wife met. The first communication we ever had. Put that at three.
All right.
Nice.
NASCAR Thunder 2004.
Oh, this is where it gets me. NASCAR Thunder.
You
You
got
know
one
what?
and four left. You got one and
I'm
four
gonna
left.
do it. I'm gonna put it at 1.
All right.
It's so good.
Here's number
What's number
four.
4?
iRacing.
Okay, that's good. That's fine. That's fine.
I know that there's controversy between calling iRacing a game or simulation, but for the purposes of this, yes, I'm throwing that
Hey,
into
it's
that.
fine.
I don't think it's a bad list. I don't think it's a bad list at all.
Hmm.
And it really, any of these games are really solid games. No, I wasn't going to throw a really crappy game in there. I wasn't going to throw like the NASCAR Total Team Control or whatever in that
Yeah.
one. I wasn't going to do that.
Yeah,
Well,
anything that NASCAR Heat came out with was trash. So
yeah.
I'm glad you didn't mention that one.
Did you have you tried the new NASCAR game, the one that just came out last
Oh,
month?
100%. If you have strayed away from console games, this is the one to get because not only is it just a breath of fresh air, but iRacing made it, and I'm an iRacing loyalist. They
Good.
worked really hard on it. They delayed it a couple times, um, but it's a well polished machine.
Rather best to play that if you're a console user to use to get a steering wheel, or is it fine on controller or what?
I've only played it on a controller just because I have it on in a separate room,
Yeah,
and I know they're releasing it on PC here soon. Um, but racing on a controller is fine with me. But like I said, I've been playing since I was a kid, so I remember it's a memory
yeah.
that I have with my controller in my hands. But having a good wheel, and even the cheapest, a good cheap Thrustmaster wheel T150 works great.
Awesome. I
We
might have to get it.
I got a kind of funny story on Dirt to Daytona. Up in our race shop in Pennsylvania, we build engines up in the garage. You know, my dad's a Sprint Car Hall of Fame race engine builder and everything. And my nephew was living with him and had the PlayStation 2. So he had the Dirt to Daytona game. My dad would come in and sit there. Those two would sit there for an hour. So they would get a little money. He'd be like, all right, let's buy suspension. But he's like, we're not putting an engine in it yet. We're going to get the car handling first. You know, and it's like they go and all of a sudden then you start putting the more power and then you go up and, you know, you lap the field in a couple laps. But this was just all on the dirt side, like when you're running the street stock. That was the most fun. Like when you started moving up in the other ones, I never enjoyed it as much, but it was fun seeing my dad get excited over doing that kind of stuff on and how actually when you make changes the car would actually respond to it. You know, you change your gear or your stagger or the wedge and everything. It did make the car handle different. That was kind of neat, just seeing my dad, who knows nothing about computers, whose VCR still blinks 12, you know, come in and just enjoy playing that. Maybe that's why I like that game so much. But I do know Christopher Bell gave a shout out to Dirt to Daytona, one of his favorite racing games. So that's kind of cool.
Oh yeah, it's this. I would say NASCAR 25 career mode is about as close to Dirt to Daytona as you can get.
Cool.
I think they need
Don't make me go buy a console now.
I think they need to revamp Dirt to Daytona. I would love them to revamp that with updated graphics and everything. I think that would be awesome. And obviously, we were sprint car guys, so we also have we had the World of Outlaw game, and I wore that thing out.
Oh yeah,
World of Outlaws 2002. I wore that thing out, dude. I mean, just raced it every single day. That was pretty awesome.
It still makes me wonder that iRacing has never added in any kind of drag racing. I don't.
that's been a talk of the town. I mean they're constantly working on things. I mean it is frustrating sometimes when you see like, oh, we're going to go rescan Watkins Glen because they put a couple new billboards out here. When you're sitting here waiting, like, man, can we just get this right here? And drag
Yeah,
racing is a big talk of the town. I
I think
haven't.
that'd be kind of neat.
Oh yeah, because the last drag racing game that I saw that you can get is an NHRA official game, and it's a very heavily disliked game.
The one that's on the PlayStation, yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's okay. I think like my son who's 6 years old, he'll play it. I mean, that's good for like little kids to play. But no, you give me the real stuff right now. I know they got to go through a lot to be able to get to add all that stuff in, and I mean, they're constantly updating it, and they had this massive update with it. I went 2 3 weeks without logging in. I logged in and completely different interface it looks like and everything changed. Like I don't like it.
Oh yeah,
I like
and
change.
the user interface, the new interface is awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
But this year they can't. I feel like this year was one of their best years for updates coming because they released the Gen 3 Cup car or
Mm-hmm.
the Gen 4 Cup car,
Careful. Yeah.
and that was one of my favorite. That's what I grew up in. That's what I remember growing up in that generation. Because I was born in '93, but those first 10 years I don't remember watching racing much. So after Dale Senior passed, that's probably when I started to remember more and watching it more when we going to the racetrack. So that Cup car and hearing the sound of it, oh
Well, let me get your perspective before we get you out of here about NASCAR itself. You've been the NASCAR race, you obviously, and have been a NASCAR fan as well, on top of the iRacing accolades and everything. What are your thoughts? We've had this discussion. Everybody's had this discussion. What are your thoughts on the NASCAR point system? What do you think it needs to be? We've had a couple different opinions of what we would like to see. I'd like to see some sort of revamp of how they used to do it in the Winston Cup days, and basically reward more for winning, more point difference on winners against second place. That way, you don't completely lose your championship hopes if you crash one week. What are you thinking that could be? Because I mean, it literally costed Connor Zilich's championship, and he was the fastest driver by far in Xfinity all year.
yeah, absolutely. I do. My biggest thing is I want to get rid of the one race championship finale because it's. I mean, yeah, one. I mean, no hate to Jesse Love. I mean, I'm a back of the corner Richard Childress fan. So I will say winning the first race is fine, but then not winning all year round and then suddenly win at the last one when a
Yeah,
guy won, was it 11 races
yeah,
or 10 races? I would be a little bit peeved off if I did all that. And Zilich raced, I feel like he raced a pretty solid Phoenix race from what I watched,
yeah,
but it's just, and then for I'm not a Denny Hamlin fan. He had the best car that day by far. Granted, they had 650 tires blow in that race. I don't know what tire they brought, but to have your whole championship come down to um,
Yeah, green
a
white
green
checker.
white checkered, I would be sick. So I can't say that I want to go back to a 36 race point system because I mean I see it all over Facebook and everything. Here's what the points would have looked like back in the Winston Cup days, and Christopher Bell apparently won the championship 5 weeks before the season ended.
yeah.
And what did we really see out of him? I mean, I'm a Chase Elliott fan, and he won it with 8 weeks to go. So you can measure it all kinds of ways. I would say keep the playoffs to keep the excitement up for the new age of fans. So I mean, all the older generation fans are going to like, oh, yep, we want the Winston Cup point system. That's what we want. That's what we remember. But I feel like now in the new era, you got to add a little bit of excitement. You got to add a playoff system somehow, but definitely get rid of the one race championship finale.
And Dad, you mentioned the kind of go back similar to what they did the chase for the cup with the final 10. It's kind of
Mm.
similar how drag racing it does their countdown. Also for, and we were mentioning this too, for all of your marquee races like the Coke 600, Daytona 500, Brickyard, all the big ones, all the crown jewels, 1.5 times the points for winning on those races, make those even more important. I think they've done a good job, and we said this right before you came on. The in season tournament, I think that made it really exciting throughout the
Yeah.
summer. Gave opportunities for drivers. I mean, Ty Gibbs and Ty Gillen, who would have thought both of them would have been in the final to get $1 million out of all this. That I think that was really good. It was fun for fans too because they had the NASCAR fantasy of that part of the NASCAR fantasy.
Hmm.
So we played that too, and that was really cool to see that. Um, yeah, we'll see what they've got. They're going to decide here, probably beginning of the year, what they're going to end up doing. They're listening to fans and drivers about going up to the 750 horsepower, which I think there shouldn't even be a limit. Like if you can build this within, just like how Sprint Car does it, it's a 410 cubic inch engine. This is what you get. Whatever horsepower you get out of it, so be it, and kind of go back like that. So it shouldn't just be limited. Just this is the horsepower you're allowed. That kind of seems ridiculous.
Yeah, my biggest gripe with NASCAR. I mean, NASCAR's got. I've been watching social media all week. They got a lot more stuff going on than figuring out a playoff system,
Yeah,
from what I'm seeing. Um, my biggest gripe is the car. Um, I just wish they give the teams more. I mean, I get that you got constraints and budgets and stuff, and I'm not in a race team, but for me to see for somebody in Hendrick Motorsports to say, well, we haven't made this profit in this time around, like, no, you got money to go do it,
yeah,
and let's divide it up. Let's build the motors. I don't want to. I mean, this car, it's. I feel like this car is put together like Legos. You got the one seat, and here's your pieces. This is what you build it with. This is what you get for this week. No, I want to. You build your car. You can get all these different parts. Keep it within this rule system, but build it how you want and
yeah,
within.
for sure. I mean,
Yeah,
that's for sure what they got to go to.
yeah, that's like the only way how we can figure out they're limiting the horsepower. They're coming up with a rule where it has to be, this stroke, this bore, this compression. I mean, it's like you got 355 cubic inches. Go to town. Here's what or maybe limit it to like here's being a fuel injector. These are the injectors you can run. If you want to build it 20-1, make it last one lap, give her hell, or go down to a normal 15-1. I just don't like seeing them be that limited. If you're in the rules and you make more horsepower than the next guy, good for you. Work harder for those teams who don't do that.
That's right.
Well, JD, we appreciate you coming on. Obviously, wish you the best of luck with this. Hopefully, get a fifth championship next year. I mean, save a little bit of championships for us. Some other people, maybe let maybe one of your drivers get a championship. All fun and
Yeah.
games, but enjoy the off season. Good luck to your late model driver racing. If you want to shout her out, what's her name? Driver name?
Rachel Beauchamp, Georgia, sponsored by Traveler Whiskey.
Well, good, nice. Good luck to Rachel, and good luck to your team going on for next season. And hope to hear from you soon, man.
All right, buddy. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Have a good one.
Bye. Have a good day.
Okay, I was trying to hang up.
That was cool. That was very interesting.
Yeah, and this is actually going to be almost right on time with Caleb, so send him a text. But yeah, JD's done pretty much everything you can think of in pro sim, simulation racing, iRacing. I mean, it's a different perspective,
Yeah.
and it becomes more relevant because there's drivers like we mentioned. There's Carson Hocevar and William Byron and Ty Majeski and others that have made it to where this is now their profession. They're professional racers now because of what they were able to show, and that's going to be the modern. That's going to be a new modern thing. You're going to see a lot of actual teams go and find all these great sim racers and give them a shot. I don't think there's why not? Why not give them a shot? Give them an opportunity and just see because a lot of it translates directly, and that's how a lot of drivers prepare for tracks. They go in the sim and try to figure out their setup and how they want to deal with it. I think it's really good. I think that for overall, I would like to see them bring those guys onto the simulator that they have at their own place, see how they race and how they can
Yeah.
how it compares to the drivers that they have on their team, and then see what they can do on the track afterwards. And I mean, like I said, there's a giant track right down the street from a lot of
Yeah.
these racers, and
Yeah,
and
you
most
could at least get them a test session or something. But unfortunately, the way it works anymore, and you see these drivers who just are not that good, but they somehow bring money and they get rides. You get the same drivers that run 30th every week, and and the cars, they're buying a car, they're buying a motor. It's not like they're going to be that much different. So the car is probably going to be decent. So of course, setup wise, is going to be a little bit different. But you could take a 30th place car and you could put a Larson or a Bell or Hamlin in it, and all of a sudden that 30th place car is probably a 15th place car without any kind of changes. So yeah, I don't know why these guys don't don't get more shots, and it's got to be just because of money.
I mean, yeah. I mean, again, you mentioned there's some people that are racing at the back of the field week in week out, and they keep having rides, and they have sponsors. It's not
Yeah.
like it's a car that has just primer paint on. That's it.
Right, and it's not like it's your own car and you got four tires to get to the track, one old motor, and you somehow make the race and run a few laps. I mean, yeah, these guys are probably got multi-million-dollar sponsors. Might get a minute of TV time, and unless they crash, then you get a little more TV time, which probably happens a lot.
Somebody's making an appearance real quick.
I see that.
You want to say hey? You want to say hey? Come here. Come here. Say hey to Papa. You don't want to?
Waiting for Mimo.
She's down there. She can't decide what she wants to do. Bye. I just hear her whispering. I don't even know she's whispering. Yeah, again, an interesting perspective. Did you see his Lego car? Did you see it?
I didn't see it. No.
It's pretty cool if you get a chance to check it out. It's
it was pretty cool when we had the whole COVID thing and all those guys were, doing the sim racing.
I think that
I'd watch that if they put it up on something.
I think well, that's pretty much the only positive out of COVID overall. But I think that kind of propelled iRacing into new levels.
I believe that.
I mean, that's kind of what got me back into it, and I was like, oh, let's do this because I mean, they're doing it. It seems pretty cool, and it shows that yes, sim racers can translate into real life, but real life racers can't always translate into sim racers.
Yeah, that's for sure.
That proved as a. I mean, you'd see Jeff Gordon would race in a couple. He did okay. I think he got in a couple crashes though. But juniors, he's pretty good at sim racing. He does a good job with that. I think you just see other drivers. We got Bubba Wallace.
I remember Clint Boyer couldn't drive it. Yeah, Bubba lost sponsorship because he rage quitted and the whole deal.
Yeah, it was one of the it was definitely definitely an interesting time. Yeah, I mean, I think that would be pretty huge. Like you could put it on Fox Sports or something on the streaming platform.
I'd watch it.
Do like
especially if
Tuesday nights
an
or
hour
something.
long something or other. Just to
do like Tuesday nights. But we have our second guest coming on. He I think this is the third or fourth time he's been on at this point. Craftsman Truck Series driver, ARCA racer, hey, former fellow cop, awesome guy. Caleb Costner is joining in. Let me figure out how I can get this to work again. I did. Caleb, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up, guys?
You got it. You got it. There you go. Hey, awesome job on Phoenix finishing up the year really strong in the Truck Series. Tell us about that experience out west. You had so many races in a row in the Truck Series. I was like, this is really cool to see that you're getting these opportunities, man. And obviously finishing on a strong note, keeping the truck clean too.
Yeah. So it was interesting how the end of my back half of my 2025 season kind of unfolded. Things were really tight there at the through the year. Wasn't quite sure what was going to happen in the ARCA season, and I got a phone call from a team, and he was looking to kind of essentially what we did is we put some resources together, and it was a kind of a good way to get on track, get experience, and ultimately, I mean, I'm thankful for the opportunities. I feel like I personally learned a lot and gained a lot of experience and things to do and more of maybe things not what not to do, and things of like what can make better when I get other opportunities. So, yeah, 'cause it was a learning experience. Anytime you can get seat time is a plus in my books, and it's been hard to come by. It's hard to come by anytime to get in the seat, right? It's all due to fun, and so just thankful for opportunities, and yeah, we got to do a lot of cool things. I a lot of things people don't know is, as a matter of fact, that truck that I end up running. Um, 5 out of the 6 races was the same truck, and it was a super speedway truck. And I mean, I had conversations with guys from Corey LaJoy, Corey Heim, Raja, and I'm like, listen, man, I'm gonna just stay the heck out of the way. Like, I'm doing my very best here, and most people in through the garage, they're like, dude, we don't know how you're doing what you're doing with what what you got. And I'm like, and to an extent, right? It's frustrating and it's embarrassing at the same time. But I'm out there and I'm trying, and so I guess the thing is like knowing what we've got and what we doing as much as we did with what we had was kind of cool. It's even though it was a super speedway truck, there was a lot that went into it. Even getting ready for Talladega when it was time to do that, and we were pretty solid, man. I mean, ultimately we didn't want to get up on the first stage or second stage and go crazy and just put ourselves in a bad situation. And guys were trying, obviously, they're chase racing, and so I'm not trying to get involved with any of that and just be respectful. But I've always been strong, especially as of late with the super speedway stuff. And we got to 15th, and we were really doing it. I mean, there was a point where we were coming down the back, and the 98, the spotter was like, 98's coming with a push, and I'm getting shoved on that. I'm like, man, we're in this thing. This is what all this stress and craziness of dealing with, the team I'm with and everything that we've been going through is worth it. And then we were put ourselves in a good spot. Start stage 3, went in, put a set of stickers on, and lost the clutch. So can't make this stuff up, and so killed that race. A lot of people don't. Yeah, I feel like that's one. If we could have had back, we really could have probably had a better solid finish than what because on paper it shows we were we're out, and a lot of trucks hadn't wrecked out at that point, so really hurt us, man. I mean, it was just a really good day. We could have capitalized on it. We were solid for as much. I mean, as crappy as that truck is, man. We could do a lot with it, and that's the track you can kind of get by with. And I feel like we were at decent pace with the trucks we were around, knowing what I had compared to what they had. So I felt pretty good about that, and it just didn't pan out. And I actually acquired 5 GMS trucks myself that I personally bought, and that was one of the trucks that I took to. That was the truck we put together, and that's what went to Phoenix. So the Chevy trucks are mine, and I went to Phoenix with that. And there's a pan deal with those trucks that help us to aero. Really anything over half mile. I mean, those pans are crucial for aero and trying to get some pick up time on those trucks. And I had no pan whatsoever on that truck, so I was already at a disadvantage when it come to that with that truck and that weekend and things like that. And still, it's crazy when you go and I can say in the Phoenix garage I showed up and Harmon. I'm appreciative for the opportunities that we showed up, and you get all your tractor trailers, and there's a Harbor Freight yellow 3 full out toolbox sitting beside the haulers. You're like, man, we are. This is roughing it right here. We're here, but man, I mean, it reminded me of about years ago, and I ran my first West race at Phoenix. The team I had showed up with, I think I raced one of the last steel bodies ever to race in ARCA. And same deal, the team showed up and they had pulled it off, and there was no trailer, there was just a car. And I'm like, holy cow, what I get myself into. So it was a little reminiscent of that, but we did good. We picked up, I was able to make quite a few adjustments through the race. I felt good about it. Definitely opportunity to get to go back, be faster, and we had pretty decent pace considering what we had. So felt good about it. Good way to stop to finish the year off, and I got a lot of things working towards 26.
That's funny. That reminds me of stories my dad had from back in the 50s when they raced up in Pennsylvania, raced dirt, and they won pretty much everything you could do. So they just got their bright idea. We're going to take our car, go to Darlington and race. And they knew nothing about it. And he said what he learned was they took it to, I guess somebody had like a mobile front end alignment thing. And that guy kind of knew what some of the other teams were doing, and he told them how to change their car, and ended up running 9th at Darlington on that.
Wow!
Oh, they were just a couple, redneck guys from southern Pennsylvania, and it's sort of that story. What you were saying reminds me of that. And just remember, your truck and trailer don't win a race. I mean,
that's right. That's That's right. It's funny you mentioned Darlington. That's one of the tracks I go back to. You know, it's just all the behind the scenes stuff, right? That no one knows about, and just showing up to me, is an accomplishment. And I knew kind of going into Richmond, we weren't guaranteed in. A truck dropped out, which got us in. Took a little less stress off, but I remember, that Richmond race. I think we finished like 10 laps down or something, but. Yeah, super speedway truck, one, and two, I had one set of sticker tires the entire race. That's it. I was the only truck in the entire field that only had, yeah, like I didn't have a full allotment. I had one set of sticker tires, and I remember that was about one truck. I was racing around, kind of on pace and stuff. Once the his tire cycle fell off, and that the one stop I got my sticker set of tires, I went around and lapped him. And so I was like, man, okay, well, it's like it's not necessary. It just shows how much tire fall off means. And in Richmond, you're just ripping off those corners. Just trying to get off, trying to get off. And so you're just tire wear, you're eating them up. And so, I'm just was skating pretty much, take as much speed as I could through the entries, and then you had to eggshell off the corners essentially, and you're just fishtailing it off the corner. It kind of took me about my dirt track day, so I don't know if that's just it felt good or I could do it and it felt fine. Definitely the guys had to pull off the corner, but it's part of learning. It's part of learning. You hope to get opportunities, and if you go out there and just don't make a fool of yourself and just do what you need to do, right? And then that's essentially what I did, was just doing what I needed to do. But we take that, we go to Darlington, same truck, uh, again, speedway truck, and man, I had no downforce. I had nothing helping me there. That's for sure. You could definitely tell I was out to lunch. In the one, it's not as bad. When you get up against the wall, you feel like you had a little help there. But man, you go into three, and I just had nothing to lean on, and it was rough. It was rough, and so that was tough. Trying to race with something that's not really meant to be where it needs to be, and but again, you're trying to make chicken salad out of chicken, you know what? So it's a tough deal, but again, I was just blessed to be there, and it's allowed for conversations and network opportunities, and it's helping build kind of that next branch off of where I want to go in my career. And if you can if you can weed through all the current crap that you're having to go through, and kind of like see the vision, and just focus on the future, that in itself can be worth like the situation you're in. So just look ahead.
Well, it sounds like, just from the way you're talking, and you had the right attitude. Like, look, I'm trying to stay out of your guys' way. And I think that goes a long way as far as building some respect with the other racers, and they, you're not racing with them. And if they're coming up on you, they figure, okay, you're probably not going to do something stupid and be in harm's way, and they can get by you. So, and I think, even farther down the line, as your career probably advances, they'll be like, hey, we race with this guy. He's not a squirrel bag. We can race with him. We can trust that he's going to do what he's supposed to do. And I think that's probably going to go a long way in helping your career right off the bat, because you guys going to come in and be like, look, I'm freaking Corey Heim. I'm going out there with this old truck. I'm going to just blast her wide open. It ain't going to happen.
Right. Yeah, and it's one of those things that, like, you have to look at your fall off. Your time compared to those other guys' time, and it's one thing to be 3/10 off or half a second off or something, and you can kind of forecast. But when your truck, it's just the pace of what you're really able to run compared to some other guys. So it's just if you're 2 seconds off, and you don't know exactly kind of where and how you need to get off, and that's why it's so important to have somebody up top that's kind of helping you forecast some of those things. But knowing where to go, knowing where to stay, I even learned even more about that, of how not to put yourself in certain situations. And I felt like I did a pretty good job of that. There was some things, again, I'm not perfect. And so I learned how to be better in those scenarios. And I also, like I said, had good people. And I realized, like, hey, I need to have the right people in my ear, because ultimately that can have a big effect on how you act and the confidence you have in reacting to what they're telling you, you know? So there's a lot that goes into that. Um, I think people may write that off, but I've definitely found confidence in working with the right people. So,
How about Corey Haim this year, though? Dude,
yeah, I mean, the dude's just a freaking stud, man, right? I mean, the guy's just, I mean, it's there's not much to say. I mean, he's a superstar, and he'll be cup racing. It's just a matter of the position he's in, and I mean, there's a lot of dynamics to the NASCAR you know spectrum right now with
yeah.
everything going on with all the different series and things coming out from that. And so, I mean, I could tell you this, whether it be Corey Haim or any other NASCAR driver that should be in the sport long term, and that's the thing I have saw. If you can stick around long enough, I don't care if you're in a truck, I don't care if you're in ARCA, I don't care what you're in. If you can stick around long enough and you're good enough, you're gonna get opportunities. And I mean, there's no doubt. I'm not putting anything on him. I'm saying that goes for lots of guys. I mean, that's like Alex Bowman, Matty D. I mean, you just get a list of guys, Ross Chastain, who were great and maybe been in crap equipment for years. And like I said, Corey's not in a situation, but like I said, I'm kind of using like a Ross, for instance, with JD and all these other different groups he was with. If you're good enough and you can stick around long enough, you're going to get opportunities. And so that's ultimately, what I look towards is this will be going into be my fifth, sixth year now from ARCA up or being a part of a different series. And, I never anticipated being around this long, but the longer you've been around, the more, conversations you get in, the more your network grows, the more opportunities that look to have because, again, you're sticking around and you're able to have these conversations where some guys are a flash in the pan and they come in, they spend $1 million, $2 million, $5, $10 million in a year and it's all gone, and just as quick as come out, they're off doing their next thing. And so, excuse me, for as much as what they could have been part of, they're on to the next. So that's my hope is that because I'm building on something here. I mean, it is frustrating that you're not in the same equipment, you're not getting the same results. I feel like but I will say, when we've showed up at ARCA, I feel like some of the results are starting to show up on that side of things with the things we're bringing and stuff. But again, we haven't got the quantity of races that I'd like to be at, but the races we do show up that we are pretty good and that we're bringing better equipment. And like I said, that's kind of what's building into 26.
Well, social media plays such a huge factor anymore, and it's so. I mean, it's good and bad, but obviously, for a driver's perspective, to get your work. I mean, I've seen all the videos you're posting that your track side, being able to be on. You were doing the track walks every single week that you were there, which is awesome to see. It gets tons of views, and teams eventually take notice of that. That's a big way to get your name out there. Building relationships in the garage, like Dad said earlier, that on track respect is probably the biggest thing out of everything. You're just race them clean. You're doing things the right way. People take notice of that, and that's really awesome to see too. Before I ask you about 2026, because I know that's going to be probably your biggest year yet, definitely your biggest year. I can almost guarantee that. Talk about just that final race of the season, Phoenix. What was that experience? It was championship weekend, so it was obviously just a massive celebration with all three series there wrapping up their season as the season finale and all of them. What was that like experiencing that and seeing all that now? And I've also asked JD, our last guest, just a little bit ago. Do you think they need to kind of steer away from that one championship race and to spread that out and change it up?
There's no doubt that coming down to an finale race like that and the one race off kind of deal, that it creates excitement. Sure, there's no denying that. But I do feel like, you know, for the guys who put it in, again, I haven't been fortunate enough I haven't raced a full 32, 34, 36 week race season. But to think that if it come down to me putting every single thing, and I know what I've done myself. So, but if I'm one of these guys and I've week in, week out, I'm in and I'm putting in the reps and I'm doing what I'm in to do, and I'm putting wins on the board, and it comes down to, you know, a inkling of a guy on a pit stop, something like that. I don't know if it's fair to the fans, to the drivers, to the teams, to the sponsors. I just don't know if it's and we've seen it. We've let it produce what it's produced over the amount of years that it has now, and there's no doubt that it's. And I hate the going back and forth. It just, I don't know if I said it just waters the product down, so to speak. When you're, oh, we're gonna change up this year, we're gonna change. I mean, like I do like consistency. So I mean, at least if NASCAR got one thing right and they've stuck with it, is if you're sticking with it, you know what's coming. But for like if every year they just change this and they change that and change this, just I mean, it's like, dude, the championship format should be an all-star race format. I mean, it's just it's just it's unpredictable and you don't know what's coming. I mean, I just don't know what sense that has in a championship format. So I do feel like I don't know if I have a strong opinion on exactly the way that it should go. And I'm not trying to be that guy, but I do think things could probably be adjusted a bit and be a little bit more across the board righted, I guess, in a situation where maybe one thing doesn't throw you off. And I mean, it's just, if you, I guess if you're the champion, right? And I guess I can see it from any side, right? I mean, at the end of the day, the guys at the championship race put themselves in a position and they won a championship for the reason, right? They executed, okay? They executed, so they won a championship. And I get that. I'm not denying or say anything negative to them or their teams. It just I just don't know again if that's the best format going forward. So that's my own personal opinion. But I mean, as far as the hype, I mean, there's no denying. They want to say, "Oh, well, I'm done watching NASCAR. I'm this." I'm like, listen, I personally don't think that that's going to have a anything effect on NASCAR fans and the projection of NASCAR. I do think there are some good things that I love how there was a initiative this year by I guess NASCAR and mainly the Cup Series where I guess they had a lot more driver interaction, trackside and sponsorship, different types of activations. The drivers more involved in. I think that program was a success. I think there was a lot of engagement that it gave NASCAR fans and partners and different things like that. I think it gave drivers a great more about their personalities and because I mean I think at the end of the day that's what people care to see. In my own opinion, I don't care that somebody's dad or grandpa or somebody's rich friend come in and spent millions of dollars and you're getting to drive a race car and you get to show up. I mean, even if you're getting to do that, I believe you should still show that same effort of trying to extend your reach to your fans and grow a base and grow the sport and grow your team and not just act like it's a right. And it's still a privilege, in my opinion. And I think that if guys would take a little more humbling approach to that, it would not just help themselves. It would help the sport as a whole. So again, I'm just blessed to be here. You know what I mean? In a position and get to do the things I've got to do. So I look at it from my point of view, and at the end of the day, that's all I can do. I can't help or make anybody else do that. So I guess that would be my only thing that I would say. But I do think that the sport, I think that some adjustments could be made, and it could be made better. So
Well, the one thing we always said that NHRA does probably better than anybody is the fan interaction. Where you get to go in, you get to see the cars up close. I know NASCAR it's a little different than that, where there's more racing going on all the time. But getting the drivers out, outside the track, and you're starting to see more and more, where they're going to show up at sponsorship tents, and whether it's autograph sessions or just a talk session where people get to see it, which is cool. So I mean that's NASCAR probably needs to continue to keep doing that. Just people want to you see your drivers on TV, but you get to see them close up. That's pretty cool. You actually even just get to say hi or get an autograph or something like that. That's special, especially when you get a new fan or a young kid gets to go up and get to see Kyle Larson or Denny Hamlin or somebody and get to have their autograph. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I agree.
You gave your autographs too, and I saw a bunch of kids. They were excited to see. And kids are excited to see really any driver. You wearing that suit, and everybody's like, "Oh, this is awesome!" It's kind of, it's similar to the way like me working, and when I'm in my uniform, you see little kids and they
Yeah.
come up to you and you give them a sticker, and that just makes their day. It's a similar way that NASCAR does with their drivers, and NHRA has propelled that. They've done that for years and years, like you just mentioned, and I hope NASCAR's slowly getting into that where the on track experience needs to be a little more personal, I think, and they're gearing it the right way. They're doing more and more. Obviously, I think maybe the truck series are kind of going a little bit more. Obviously, seeing you out there and with all the truck drivers got to do autographs and picture
Yeah.
sessions and everything like that. Um, what's what? So now we mentioned obviously this year, awesome year for you. What's the plan for next year? Are you kicking it off at Daytona in the truck series? What's
Yeah.
the plan?
So I mean, I obviously am very optimistic with. I'm in the year on as much momentum as I ever have. And I'll be honest. I mean, I've went into seasons. I'm like, I don't know if we're gonna go up, and then some things happen. We will 100% be at Daytona in the ARCA Menard series
Yep.
with the '93. There is a lot of things happening behind the scenes that I can't like confirm. But I will say again that it's the most momentum I've ever had going into a season. I've got more partners and more things happening than I ever have before. Um, I feel fairly confident in saying that, this could be the most I've ever raced in a season, if not at least in the most competitive races that I've ran. So I do think that there are some big things happening and that I'll have, like I said, more opportunities than I ever have before. Um, and I said, I don't know if that, and no speculation. And I'll just be honest, I don't know if we could potentially go full time marker racing. We could do select to full time truck stuff. It could be with multiple teams. It could, so I've got opportunities and there are avenues, there's conversations being had. It's just a matter of exactly, kind of seeing what best lines up with, you know, whatever opportunity is presented to us in the best way. So that's kind of ultimately that's kind of what I say, and it stinks because we're right in this kind of somewhat of a holding pattern. It's end of November, 1st of December. A lot of people like to do things at the end of the year, first of the year. So I'm kind of in a holding pattern. I've had the conversations. We've got some good things happening, but we're just kind of waiting to see where things fall and things ramp up really quick in January leading into Daytona, and ultimately decisions have to be made. And so again, obviously going to Daytona, I should fairly be things are headed. It just I wish going into this season I'm actually as prepared as I could be. Uh, Plannings and be like settled in and not have to rush or do anything. But unfortunately, it comes down to money and checks clear and then things like that. So, if that happens and it's first of the year, middle of January, we'll just be thrashing again. So it is what it is. It's part of the sport. And, I'll just be blessed to be able to do it. And so we'll see how things play out, and we'll just keep excited. But I'm very excited. I'm very excited about 26. It's going to be cool, I think, to actually be able to go out here and have an opportunity to have some really, really, really strong runs and potentially some wins. So I'm excited about it.
How about shout out to your Piedmont Outfitters hat that you got on too?
Yeah, we've it's so cool, man. I love to hunt and fish. I love the outdoors. I don't get to do it, as much as near as I'd like. Um, and as a matter of fact, right before I come on, I got a big old 10 point that just popped up on my camera, and I'm like, man, I got this heat, and I might go pop in the woods. But yeah, I was like, it's cold this morning, so they're moving. I'm like, man, I came out to stay a little early, but it's so cool to see like even a vision in our place kind of growing and taking root with where we're at. And I've got my cleaning company as well that we're busy and we're doing a lot of things, and we do some things for some teams and some hospitals, and so we're growing from about every angle. And it'd be really cool this year to, like I said, be able to see the racing kind of take off and me have some opportunity. But at the end of the day, like I said, I'm excited about Piedmont Outfitters. We're actually getting to go have launch our e-commerce site. So no matter if you're, here in North Carolina and you come our brick and mortar, or you're a fan out in New York or California or Arizona, we can ship products to you now. So it's going to be really cool once we get that launched, that you can shop off our online store and be able to help support us, and we get you water in the woods, and that'll be a cool another aspect to, if I get to travel around, get to tell people about that, and hopefully grow my brand as well. So
I might have to make my way out there and check out some swag there too.
yeah, come on.
All right, before we end up, I want to end on something fun, kind of like a little game right here. I call this kind of the knockout game. So
All right.
this is NASCAR based. I mean, NASCAR driver. I mean, so in their prime, who do you take? And this is a knockout edition. So we're starting off with the matchup versus Kyle Larson and Joey Logano.
Kyle Larson.
All right. So the next one up is Kyle Larson versus Denny Hamlin.
Tough right off the bat.
Yeah, fun game.
I'm gonna say Kyle Larson.
Here's where it's going to start getting a little tough. Kyle Larson versus Dale Jarrett.
I just don't know how Kyle would do in those cars. I mean, I assume he'd adjust just fine, but I mean, Dale was a threat back then. Well, Dale was Mr. Consistent, I feel like. So, I don't know. That's a tough one. I'm probably Kyle on that one, but
All right. Well, this is a Kyle versus Kyle. Kyle Larson versus Kyle Busch.
man, it's got to be Kyle Busch. If you're talking prime, man, Kyle, there was no one. And there was time where Kyle Busch was triple sweeping them, man. I mean, like you just, I mean, I think, and Kyle Larson had a couple of those opportunities, but maybe it wasn't, Kyle wasn't in the exact same equipment Kyle Busch was in, but I mean, Kyle Busch in his prime, man, every single race of every single series of every single weekend, you're like, Kyle's probably going to win. Like, it was just that tough.
He was the reason they put the restrictions on.
He's exactly the reason, yeah. But I'd say Kyle Busch on that 100%.
Kyle Busch versus Jeff Gordon.
Listen, people are gonna hate on me for saying this, but I think Jeff Gordon's got so many thanks to Abraham. So I would say 100% Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch versus Jimmy Johnson.
Kind of goes in the same boat here. Sorry, Jimmy Johnson, but again, Jack Mouse and that whole type deal. I'm sorry, I'm going Kyle Busch, because we're talking driver definitely over who's doing what to your car and helping you in those races.
Two more matchups. Don't make people mad here on this next one. Kyle Busch.
I'm sure the name Dylan Hart. I knew that was coming.
Yep.
I don't. You said Kyle Busch versus Dale Earnhardt. Here's the deal. I think the talent was there on both sides. I just think, and if you're talking that timeline versus that time, I just think Dale, maybe they both would have been even keel, but where it would have been differences, I think Dale Earnhardt would have just said, "Get the hell out of the way," and he'd have just wrecked his ass. So I really don't think that it'd been any. And I'm saying Kyle Busch wouldn't. I'm just saying there wouldn't have been a hesitation in Dale Earnhardt's mind. So I'm going Big E. I mean, that's it.
All right, battle of the 7 times here. Dale Earnhardt versus Richard Petty.
Oh man, I hate it, but I mean, we're going Dale Earnhardt, and I love Richard Petty as a person, but again, Richard Petty, man, he's just a good old soul, man. I think Dale Earnhardt wouldn't give a piss. He's gonna wreck and put him in the fence. He just, at the end of the day, you can't have a soul when you're on the track, man. And Dale Earnhardt, if you come down to that, that's what he's gonna do. Just fence you, man.
Well, there you go. You didn't make too many people mad there either. You rebounded coming back. So that was good. Like I said, it was a little fun little game to end it. Caleb, again, we always love having you on the show and the podcast, and look forward to seeing what you're going to do next year. Try to have you on again at some point next year, of course. Good luck with ARCA. Good luck. Hopefully, get some more opportunities in the Truck Series. Obviously, shout out to Piedmont Outfitters. Keep that going. Good luck with all that stuff and everything you got going on, man.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate y'all always asking. It's fun, and yeah, it was a good conversation. So big things for 26, hopefully, and we'll stay tuned. So
I'll see you, bud.
Thank you.
All right, see you guys. Thank you. All right.
That was good.
Yeah,
Let's take
he
a.
he gets excited to talk. It's fun.
I love having
I
him
like
on.
hearing the excitement of how
He's
he's
a
doing.
great conversation every single time. You could tell he's very passionate of what he does,
Yeah.
and he was talking
He loves
about,
it. He's very appreciative of everything, and
he was talking about some people kind of seems like they've lost their humble beginnings and forgot where they came from, and I don't think he ever will. That's just who he is. Yeah, I mean his story ain't too terribly far from me. I'll have to definitely give it a check out sometime.
so that's
And,
that's his own brand.
yeah, so he took
That's
it
cool.
over. It was a previous owner, and he bought it from. I want to say it was either earlier this year or it was last year that he bought it. I've been following some of the things he's been doing. So let's take 10 minutes. I'll put another countdown on. Go get some water. Go pee, so we can get our next guest, our final guest, up for the season 3 finale. We'll see you guys in a minute.
There we are.
I'm just waiting to hear from our third guest to see if he's able to come on. But regardless, this was a really good show. A lot of good conversations, like always, and trying to build upon this. And like I said, I potentially do a weekly live show, and we'll obviously do our NASCAR fantasy. Anybody wants to join on NASCAR fantasy, comment, and we are. I say 7 more people would be right about right to have 10 people in the.
We need somebody to be able to beat Mom.
I had my shot and I blew it, and that was pretty much my.
You know, if all my drivers would not have quit at Daytona, I probably could have won that thing.
Mine just didn't quit at the end of the entire
Well,
season.
mine should have all quit at Daytona. I had like 40 points on that first race.
It was yeah. So again, if you want to, if anybody wants to, knows anybody that wants to join,
Yeah, it's free to join. It doesn't cost anything.
you just comment, DM me, DM the channel, whatever you need to do, and we'll get
It's
you set up,
fun.
send an email. Yeah, I mean it gets pretty competitive and it cheats. So it's been yeah, it's definitely been fun to do. Definitely
I am a little better at that than I am at fantasy football. So
yeah, I'm mediocre at both. I found that out. I am equally mediocre. And yeah, if anybody joins in too, I occasionally will drop some actual bets with DraftKings because DraftKings does the NASCAR betting. I've won a couple NASCAR bets more than I could say on most sports, so at least kind of know what I'm talking about on some NASCAR things. It makes me feel a little bit better about myself, and that's always nice. Um, but yeah, I think just I mean having JD on and getting that perspective from the iRacing portion, and then
that's really cool.
then you get Caleb's and the up and coming uh, portion, and the kind of he's still on the up and coming, and seeing it from that end of NASCAR where you just don't get to see it that often is definitely it's definitely pretty cool. Um, let's do something right now, and kind of see go through which states. This is for actually no, we still haven't talked about NHRA. We haven't talked about the NHRA season finale. How it was definitely a flop,
What's
and
the
everybody.
finale?
So it rained out, and but they didn't reschedule. They just called the season. I don't know. I don't know what the weather was that entire week, and
Yeah, I mean it looked bad, and I don't know how long it was going to rain. But your season finale, you should not cancel. I mean, if you have to run it Wednesday, these guys. So it just basically whatever the last race before was, I guess, was Vegas. You know, I mean, who thought it was going to rain in Southern California? It doesn't happen. But and realistically, only one of them was really going to have a shot. I mean, Coletta already had it wrapped up top fuel. Austin Prock already had it all wrapped up in funny car. Pro Stock was kind of close. There was a shot. But Pro Stock Motorcycle was only 20, 30 points difference. That one really could have been.
yeah, I mean that definitely yeah, it kind of robbed us of what could have happened. I mean, shoot, I mean even the ones that were very likely going to happen, they might not have. I mean, we don't know. Like it could have been that somebody lost in the first round,
Yeah, I
and
mean, anything's possible.
yeah,
Because I don't
I mean,
think any of them were mathematically. I think Proc might have been going in, or after if he'd have qualified, I think it might have been wrapped up. But which, speaking of Proc, that whole team has left John Force Racing to join Bob Tasco
yeah.
in
I
the
wonder what
second car,
happened.
which is really, really kind of surprising. I don't know if something's going on in John Force Racing and nobody really knows yet. But surprisingly, he, his dad, and his brother that they all left. So that's
Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird. It's definitely
rumor has it because they said it could be possible teammates from another team joining each other again, which Jack Beckman and Tommy Johnson Jr. were teammates in 20 car before I also think maybe Ron Claxton would have been that team.
You got muted. You're talking, but it's like muffled. This.
Really? That's weird.
Oh, now you're good. I don't know what happened.
Okay. I don't know.
That was it was muffled for a second. I don't know why. It was weird. Um, trying to get confirmation. I'll know here probably about 5 minutes. If anybody doesn't know that hasn't seen yet, Ryan Timms was going to be our third guest, so we're trying to see. He's busy as you can imagine. One of the hottest names in sprint car racing right now, and the youngest upcoming drivers in sprint car racing. Got a lot going on, so he's
Yeah.
going to confirm. And obviously, it's holiday season, so I understand some people can and can't come on. If not, we'll have him on earlier next year to kickstart some of our stuff. We'll try to get some more guests on. Again, people comment in Facebook and YouTube when we post this. I'll put this on Spotify early next week, and let us know who we could try to get as guests, and if there's any realistic ones that you guys know about and want to reach out to them to come on the show. We welcome anybody. Again, we've always said that. We have numerous ones so far. If to make this work for live shows every weekend, I would like to have one guest to come on, and we might even do a guest picker for the biggest race that weekend, usually in NASCAR. So we'll have the guest picker for that, kind of like college game day,
Right. There we go.
Similar situation, just kind of throw that out there. It's again, it's been another fun year. And do we have the biggest numbers of any podcast? No, we're trying to always grow a little bit. But what the fun thing is, it gets you off, gets you a break from reality, and just talk about one thing and one thing only, and it's racing. And
Yeah. The one thing we like to discuss, and and everything is racing. It's always fun, and especially fun that there's so many different series out there, and it's always nice discussing some of that. But while we're kind of waiting though, so Pennsylvania has announced a 47 race Pennsylvania Posse series.
Oh yes, we can talk about that. Yes,
I don't know how I feel about that, because they're still going to have your weekly shows, but some of these shows are going against Williams Grove on Friday, which I don't. I like the 47 schedule. Weekly shows is getting very, very difficult and very expensive to have these things. It would be nice to be able to run 2 different tracks weekly, So Williams Grove doesn't have the 410s, run the 358s that weekend or something like that. I think they're going to alienate the people who want to be loyal to a track and go for a title, and it's just
the
extra 47 races compared to a week, your weekly races. That's very difficult, in my opinion. And then the other catcher is there's going to be another streaming TV series they're going to be on, which I'm not going to buy. I don't know why you can't partner with Flow or Dirt Vision. We already got 2, and I think 2's. Well, we got 3. We got Sprint Car Unlimited. I think 2's too many.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my rant.
Well, yeah. I think I'll be honest, and Dirt Vision has shout out JD. He's commented a couple things. He said when we're talking about HRA, time for smoke to shine even more with the star power gone, with the forces gone. Well, he's got his wife to deal with on that, so we'll figure that one out. And he said obviously he'll come on anytime, so we appreciate you, JD. Dirt Vision can be great. It can be. I'm with you. I think there are too many, and to have to be able to see all the races you want to, you have to kind of spend a pretty penny. And a lot of people are left with: do you want to have Flow or do you want to have Dirt Vision? And now you're getting other options, and depending which series go where. For me, just because it's a wide range of sports, I think Flow fits in best for what I like, just because it's got everything. It's got college wrestling on there as well, and you still have football. I think there's some FCS games that are broadcasted on there. Division two games and things like that. And obviously, weekly racing between asphalt and dirt, it's got everything on that.
Yeah, we often said drag racing would be smart to partner with one of them where you
I,
get show everything going on that whole day, all
I think,
classes
yeah,
running. And,
I think drag racing is kind of missing on partnering with a streaming service because it's Fox Sports One is just kind of a mess and it's a headache. I think drag racing going to Flow would somehow partner
yeah,
with
because from
Flow.
what I understand, NHRA pays Fox.
Yeah, that just seems ridiculous. It just yeah, and there's a lot of things that Flow would be able to do behind the scenes that you can see that Fox Sports can't necessarily do.
Yeah,
And
because right now a
racing in that
3 hour
direction.
NHRA broadcast is too long. It should be there's too much not going on of racing. You know, people they're going to tune in and they want to see the cars going down the track. I mean, it's a
Well,
simple.
the thing with Flow, they could I think we brought it up too. They can broadcast the amateur series too.
Right. That's what I said. Show everything that's going on the track. Have a different channel. I mean, they got you can change make as many channels you want. You want to flip over and see driver pits on a channel, like they do in wrestling. You have the mat set up. Have cameras on the force cars or whatever. Just kind of. I
Yeah,
think it would be better. I liked it when I would record the drag racing and I would fast forward through all the fluff and get to the next two cars lined up. You could watch it in about 45 minutes. Made it much more enjoyable.
NHRA needs to improve on their uh, highlights on their YouTube channel because
Yeah,
they show
and their web page and everything else.
well, their thumbnail and the titles are saying, "Hey, this guy wins." I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't tell me. Uh,
Well, uh, on the YouTube replays on the sprint cars, every now and then you'll kind of guess who wins. Show the four wide lineup and make that your thumbnail. I don't want to see a battle of two cars. Be like, okay, well we know it looks like Rico's out in front here, though. It's
yeah, and yeah, I mean, I think the best one that shows the best highlights from the clips, though, on the YouTube channel is World of Outlaws. They do a fantastic job at it.
yeah.
You almost see the entire World of Outlaw race, and
You see everything you need to see. It makes it nice.
Yeah, and I mean that's how we get caught up.
Yeah. But while we're talking, one of our guests and longtime racer Lance DeWeese has got a new ride for next year. He's teaming up with Rich Eichelberger in the 8 car to run Central Pennsylvania, which I think that's probably going to be a pretty good deal. They don't want to race all the time. I don't think Lance's son's racing. I think that's going to work out good. Lance is a great racer, doesn't tear up a whole lot of equipment, and it proved last year he can still be fast.
Yeah, they meshed really well, nice last year. Got a lot of speed, got a couple wins, and if there's anybody that's a just great fundamentalist racer, that
Yeah.
would be Lance. And he's just got a knack for where he needs to put the car in the right position.
Yeah, like I always said, like if young people are watching them on, young sprint car drivers especially are learning, watch Lance, watch his hands, watch the front wheels of that car. Like they don't move hard. He's very smooth on. You'll see the guys where they're this and that, and Lance is very calculated. And you do that, you're going to go fast. I mean, that you learn car control like Lance has, you're going to win a lot of races.
And then you mix it with the youth, where a lot of the youth and shoot, I'm saying it right now, and one that he's very much impressed me, and it is Ryan Timms with his
Yeah,
car control.
he's very much the same way. You watch time trials, that car don't move.
Yeah, he's very smooth, and that's why he put himself in that position, and he
Yeah.
won the Knoxville Nationals. He took care of the car. He was very methodical how he went about that race. Didn't race it too hard. Didn't put himself in a position where he didn't need to be. He did a fantastic job. I don't think he's going to be able to join us on this one, and that's why we'll try to get up with him in the next season. We're also going to try to get Lance on at some point next season. JD, of course, he's going to come on for sure. Definitely, we'll get Caleb on again. If anybody knows some other people that want to come on, anything in the racing industry, shoot them an email, send them my way. and we'll make something happen. And like I said, we're gonna try to make. I think we're gonna try to make this a weekly live thing. I think changing it up a little bit then, based on what my schedule is. I work night shift, so I could more or less do every afternoon on Saturdays anyway. So we're gonna look at that, see what the numbers come off of the live, and kind of go from there. We appreciate everybody that has tuned in or is tuning in later on, whether it's on Spotify or here and everything. Follow that. Follow ZB's Horsepower Talk on Facebook. Make sure you share it. Follow on TikTok. I will upload the full video on TikTok. It's recorded and all of this, so it'll get it at a later time. That'll be on there too. Share, follow, let everybody know as we continue to build this. It's just a fun little thing that we'd like to do as we progress and try to get into season 4, likely around when the Chili Bowl goes. So everybody have Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, all of that. Be safe, and we'll see you guys next season.
Real quick though, I know we were going to ask Ryan Timms this, so I'm going to ask you, what's your Mount Rushmore of sprint car racing?
Oh, it sounds good.
I'm going to say we're just going to include drivers.
Well, yeah, it'd be just drivers. So the Mount Rushmore, I think, is tough for. So, God, it's kind of putting me on the spot. I mean, you got to have Steve Kinzer up there. There's no question.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
he's the greatest that's ever done it.
Yeah. You got to have Donnie Schatz up there.
I would think so.
As many World Outlaw Championships as he's had. You got to have Doug Wolfgang up there.
You think Wolfgang's deserving of it?
Yeah. He won half the races of a World Outlaw year, and he didn't even race every World Outlaw race.
Oh, I'm just saying, but he's never had a World Outlaw Championship.
Didn't race.
I don't disagree. Believe me.
I'm not going to the World Outlaw Mount Rushmore.
Well, I know, but for the longest time, it was only World of Outlaws.
Yeah, well, he beat everybody's ass anywhere he went.
Yeah.
Fourth one's tough because there's a ton of people that you could go with.
I mean, there's old drivers, there's new drivers. How do you put one over another one? Yeah, it's not as easy as you think.
Based on championships and his consistency and how much he won and he's retired now, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna go with Brad Sweet up there.
Okay.
As many championships he had for World of Outlaws and how many wins he was able to get consistently year in and year out. It's kind of how what David Gravel's doing now, and Brad did that consistently for that amount of time. I'll put him up there. I'll put him up there. It's hard. I mean, I'm gonna definitely get some backlash for it, but I mean, if you for sure have to have. Like Steve Kinzer is no question to have up there.
And there's also Sammy Swindell.
I know, and
who bumps? How do you bump Sammy out of there?
Yeah,
and then you have guy you're like Fred Raymer. Does he deserve to be on there? Then we got Jan Opperman, Kenny Weld.
I mean, you think of the good drivers back.
And these are just wing guys. We're not real familiar with the non-wing guys, but you have Dave Darlin and J.J. Yaley was great without a wing, and Damian Gardner, and
who's
Jason Leffler? And
let me just get the question. The question's right back at you. What's your Mount Rushmore sprint car drivers?
Well, the three I had were Steve Kinzer, Sammy, Wolfgang. The fourth one, my best guess is probably Schatz, but just then we were talking about, I was like, man, how do you Fred Raymer freaking won everything in Pennsylvania for a long time, and people are going to get shit just because he run around local Pennsylvania, but he was still a hell of a race car driver, for one thing. I'll go with Donnie Schatz though. I think he's second in wins or third.
Yeah,
something like that. It's just when Steve won a lot of those races in the older races, it was, I don't want to say it was easier, but the cars were different. You could have a superior car and a superior engine over everybody else and can make up a little bit. Now he's the greatest driver that ever lived. but it was a different time. You could take a lesser car, have more horsepower, and possibly win, or just a better handling car. Now everything's freaking same. I mean, they're all going to be about the same horsepower, and Shots proved that he was one of the best. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Steve, Sammy, Wolfgang, and Donnie Shots.
I'd like to see who Pop would put up there, just based on he's seen everyone.
Yeah,
Literally everyone. Quite literally, he's seen everybody. Like beginning of pretty much beginning of sprint car racing and everything. So
yeah. Well, Steve would definitely be on there for sure.
Oh yeah,
And Wolf, he always said how Wolfgang was one of the
he would have
smoothest race car drivers.
he would at least have those two. Don't be shocked if he wanted to throw Larson up there because he's definitely give Larson his flowers for sure. I mean, he's worked with so many damn people. It'd probably be hard for him to narrow it down to four, but he yeah, that'd be an interesting list.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. Well, ending on that note, yeah. What's your Mount Rushmore? Comment below who you think it is. I mean, everybody's at least got to have Steve Kinser. If you don't have Steve Kinser on your Mount Rushmore, you're wrong. Like there's no question. You're gonna have he's the king of sprint car racing, so he's gonna be on everybody's thing. But who do you guys think it's gonna be below? Is you think Sammy Swindell, one of our guests? We're gonna try to get Sammy on too. Technology is not Sammy's friend though, so we will see what we can do.
Well, Sammy didn't realize he could do it on the computer, so I think next time he gets on his laptop.
Well, I'll send him an email with this thing, and maybe it'll go a little bit better. We'll see. We'll see if we can get Sammy on.
Maybe we'll see if we can get Sammy and his brother Jeff on here. That'd be fun at the same time if we get both. I don't know how well they get along. That could be interesting.
If they don't, it'll be fun. I'd love to be able to get Steve Kinser on too. So if that's a possibility, I'd love to be able to get him on and just kind of. I mean, again, that. I don't know if there's been any late interviews with Steve Kinser. I don't know. I haven't seen him in the news at all, so it'd be really cool to see to at least hear from him. So maybe there's a shot we can get Doug Wolfgang at one point. So we'll see. And definitely want to get some other races too. So we'll see what happens. But we appreciate everybody for season 3, and as we move into season 4, like I said, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all that fun stuff. Everybody have a safe one, and we'll see you in 2026.
All right. Bye, everybody.